Did you know that one cat food manufacturer is responsible for 11 different cat food brands? Guess what? These manufacturers make junk food for humans. Hey friends, it's Jess Jericho from Caticles.com, here to teach you how to feed your cat better. Before we get into the worst cat food brands to avoid, at the end of the day, you are responsible for your cat and you have the option to feed or avoid whatever you want. Just like these manufacturers have the option to produce these brands. I'm here to give you the facts, and those facts are based on these 4 things. Number 1, cat food manufacturer. So not just the brand, but who's actually manufacturing the product. 2, AAFCO product name rules. The product name rules tell us the minimum requirement of the named ingredients. Number 3, AAFCO ingredient definitions. A lot of these worst cat food brands have mystery ingredients. And number 4, the approximate carb amount based on the guaranteed analysis numbers. By the way, the NRC says that carbohydrates are not essential to the diet. And in fact, many holistic veterinarians say that carbohydrates promote hunger and weight gain. All pictures in this video were taken by me at my local grocery store and pet food stores, so if your brand isn't listed, that doesn't necessarily mean it's the best cat food. Some brands just aren't at my grocery store or the local pet store. So you should still learn how to read cat food labels properly. The first worst cat food brand manufacturer is Mars Pet Care. I'm sure you're familiar with their products: M&Ms, Tasty Bits, combos, chocolate bars, frozen foods. Do you think these foods are healthy for us? Let's take a look at their cat food brands. Here's Royal Canin, aka veterinarian recommended cat food brand. This particular product says oral care. There's no named ingredients, so that means we don't know the minimum requirement of meat. And here the first 5 ingredients are chicken meal, corn, brewer's rice, chicken fat, and wheat gluten. First of all, meat meals are rendered meats. According to a CRS report to Congress, rendered meats can include 4D meats, which is dead, diseased, dying, and disabled. According to the guaranteed analysis, the approximate amount of carbohydrates is 46%. 46%, that's almost half. 3 of the first 5 ingredients are corn, brewer's rice, and wheat gluten. These are all sources of carbohydrates. Side note, amylase is an enzyme that breaks down carbohydrates. Cats cannot produce amylase in their saliva. Therefore, cats cannot break down carbohydrates in their mouth. This product is marketed as oral care, but half the ingredients are carbohydrates. If cats can't break down carbohydrates in their mouth, how can this high carbohydrate food be good for their teeth? Here's another worst cat food brand manufactured by Mars. These are marketed as treats, but I cannot believe this. It actually has feeding instructions on the label. You'll see a huge Mars Pet Care on the back of the label. The product name is Tasty Chicken Flavor. According to AAFCO product name rules, any product that has the word flavor in the name has a 0% minimum requirement of meat. And the next rule up says 3% is the minimum requirement, and those product names have the word with in the name. So we know that this particular brand has anywhere between 0 and 2% meat. The first 5 ingredients include chicken byproduct meal, corn, animal fat, brewer's rice, and wheat flour. Interesting that the first 5 ingredients of this brand is very similar to the first brand that we looked at. The approximate carb amount on a dry matter basis is 37%. Other brands in Mars Pet Care include Sheba, Iams, Whiskas, Nutro, and the treats called Greenies. Next on the worst cat food brands are manufactured by Nestle. And this is the manufacturer that I mentioned in the beginning, so they're responsible for 11 different cat food brands that are on the market today. And remember, each brand has several different products under that same brand. Nestle, as you may know, manufactures cereal, drinks, and chocolate for humans. Here's Friskies, which is created under the Purina brand. The product name here is Whiff Beef and Gravy. So that word whiff means the minimum requirement of beef is 3%. Our next rule up is 25% minimum requirement, so we know that this product has somewhere between 3 and 24% meat. Isn't that crazy? Food intended for obligate carnivores has less than 25% meat in the product. Our first 5 ingredients include water, meat byproducts, beef, wheat gluten, and chicken. So the very first meat ingredient that we see here is a complete mystery: meat byproducts. What kind of meat? What kind of byproducts? Byproducts are also rendered meats, so that means it can include 4D meats, dead, diseased, dying, and disabled. Jericho doesn't like 4D meats. Even worse, that CRS report to Congress said that rendered animals can include dead animals, from animal shelters. And we have absolutely no idea because it only says meat byproducts. That's a dangerous mystery. Even though this is a wet food, the approximate amount of carbohydrates on a dry matter basis is 23%. Here's Purina 1. This is our first 25% minimum requirement of meat rule so far, and the first 5 ingredients include chicken, liver, broth, pork lungs, fish. 3 out of the first 5 ingredients are a complete mystery. What type of liver? What type of broth? What type of fish? Give me a polydactyl thumbs up if you get what I'm saying here. By the way, did you notice those fancy label claims? Premium, natural, grain-free. I covered this in another video, but premium and natural mean absolutely nothing in feed law. And grain-free does not mean carb-free. So this particular food that says grain-free is actually approximately 11% carbs on a dry matter basis. You might think that that's low, but compared to 2%, the approximate amount in the cat's natural diet, that's a 450% increase. Here's Purina Pro Plan, which is a veterinarian recommended brand. The product name fits under the 25% minimum, but here we have lamb and rice in the product name. So that 25% minimum is lamb and rice combined. The first 5 ingredients are lamb, rice, corn gluten meal, dried egg product, and soy protein isolate. Now I'm sure you're saying, meat is the #1 ingredient. How can this be the worst cat food brand? Yes, meat is the #1 ingredient. However, the USDA says that muscle meat is approximately 75% moisture, aka water. Kibble is cooked and pressurized 3 times, and the finished product is only 10% moisture. So most of that first ingredient of meat is gone by the time the kibble hits the bag. The next 2 ingredients are carbohydrate, and the approximate carbohydrate amount on a dry matter basis here is 27%. Jericho, can I have kisses? Can I have kisses? Thank you. This particular product says for sensitive skin and stomach, but how can it be good for sensitive stomachs if cats aren't designed to digest carbohydrates? Other brands in this manufacturer include Fancy Feast, Beyond, Delicat Muse, Kitten Caboodle, Kitten Chow, and Cat Chow, and all Purina products. By the way, I'm talking about kibble and wet foods made by these brands and manufacturers. Next, worst cat food brands are manufactured by J.M. Smucker. J.M. Smucker also owns companies like Dunkin' Donuts, Crisco, and Jif. Here's Rachel Ray Nutrish. The product name here is chicken and potato recipes, so that's 25% minimum requirement of chicken and potato combined. The first 5 ingredients are chicken, chicken meal, dried peas, pea flour, and turkey meal. Again, we see rendered meats that can include 4D meats. The other 2 ingredients are carbohydrates. Again, grain-free does not mean carb-free. The approximate carb amount of this product is 39% on a dry matter basis. Here's Meow Mix Wet Cat Food. The product name rule here is 3% minimum requirement of meat because it has the word with in the name. The first 5 ingredients of all 3 are fish broth, chicken, fish, wheat gluten, and ocean fish. Did you notice that each of them includes chicken in the ingredients, but it doesn't say that in the product name? This is very dangerous for cats that have allergies. And of course, the very first ingredient is a mystery. Fish broth. What type of fish? The approximate carb amount here is 27% on a dry matter basis. So just because it's wet food doesn't mean that it's going to be carbohydrate free. Other brands manufactured by J.M. Smucker include 9 Lives and Natural Balance. Our next worst cat food brands are manufactured by Colgate-Palmolive. Yes, a toothpaste company. Now, Colgate-Palmolive breached advertising laws in 2007 because their claim 80% of dentists recommend Colgate was very misleading. Survey takers included dentists and hygienists, and they were not told that the survey was conducted by Colgate. They were also asked to recommend several brands of toothpaste, but the claim 80% of dentists recommend Colgate made it seem like they recommended Colgate instead of other brands. So what does this have to do with cat food? Colgate-Palmolive owns Hill's Pet, the veterinarian recommended prescription diet foods. Did you catch that? Veterinarian recommended. Same advertising as the toothpaste. Here's one of the prescription diets, and the product name is Chicken Flavor. The flavor rule states there is no minimum requirement of meat. Now remember, the next product rule up is the with rule, meaning that product names that have the word with contains at least 3% meat. Now, if this particular product contained at least 3% chicken, the product name would say with chicken instead of chicken flavor. So this product that requires a prescription for cats who are obligate carnivores contains less than 2% meat. The approximate amount of carbs on a dry matter basis of this product is 31%. Our next worst cat food brands are manufactured by General Mills. Yes, that's right, General Mills, a cereal company. Since all of these cat food brands contain high amounts of cereals and grains, it should come as no surprise that a cereal manufacturing company would also own cat food companies. Brands here include all of the Blue Buffalo brands, so Blue Buffalo, Blue Wilderness, Blue Carnivora, Blue Basics, Blue True Solutions, Blue Freedom, and Blue Natural Veterinary Diet. By the way, all of these cat food brands say that theirs is the best. But if theirs was actually the best, why would the manufacturing company have to produce so many different types of brands? So I'm editing the video right now and I can already foresee some comments. The first comment I'm sure I'm going to get is, "Are you kidding me? I've been feeding these foods forever and my cats are fine." Like I said, you are responsible for your cat and you have the option to feed or avoid whatever you want. These are the facts. What you do with the information is up to you. Additionally, I'd like to add that holistic veterinarians say that it is the long-term consumption of these poor quality foods that cause problems. Number 2 comment, "That's every single cat food available. What do you recommend then?" Check the pinned comments for all of the foods that I do recommend and all of these resources. If you want to learn how to read the cat food label properly, check out this playlist right over meow. Thanks for watching.